In the criminal justice system, the people are represented by two separate yet equally important groups: the police who investigate crime and the district attorneys who prosecute the offenders. These are their stories.
There we go. All right. My microphone is working. It's picking up the Discord audio. Hello, YouTube. It's me and my friend Josh, Oathkeeper the Brony. Welcome to Secular Media Breakdown, where we break down secular media through the eyes of Christians who see that this stuff can be a bit more significant than people would initially think.
Yeah.
And today we are going to cover The Truman Show, which is definitely one of Jim Carrey's most significant, interesting movies of all time. And I say that because, let's be real, most people do look at Jim Carrey as the funny guy, as a comedian, more than, a serious actor.
Yeah.
And I say that also totally loving him as a comedian, too. I love Dumb and Dumber. I loved The Mask. Even though it's kind of gnarly how it's not very kid appropriate, but I still liked The Grinch back then when he did it.
Yeah.
And I also even saw the likes of Lemony Snicket's Series of Unfortunate Events when he played Count Olaf.
Yeah.
So in general, he's up there as probably one of my favorite actors. What would you say about him in this movie specifically?
I do like him as a serious actor. He played the character of Truman very well.
Because let's be real, and especially because I mean it might be hard for people to not imagine us spoiling a lot of these movies, but yes, these reviews are involving us spoiling the movies. And I'm just going to say it. This is such a twisted plot line with the idea of this character who was unknowingly adopted by a corporation to be basically unknowingly the star of a hidden camera show that happened ever since he was in the womb. And he quite literally is being underhandedly manipulated throughout his entire life, not sure of who to even trust.
Yeah.
And that is very creepy to imagine in the first place. Let's be real here.
But, yeah.
And I don't even just say that because because I know it's just a movie, but like when you really think about something like that, it is so creepy to imagine if you literally had just no privacy whatsoever in your whole
Yeah.
damn life. To where you even see where people do argue is, how do I put this? Probably the darkest thing about the character is that he is trying to recreate a picture of this woman that he fell in love with during his high school years, simply because she was the only genuine person in the entire controlled environment that he lived in since the beginning that wasn't just an actor who was actually trying to even get him to understand that things are not what they seem. So he literally falls in love with this girl while this completely different person is clearly pushed onto him, however the hell they can do it. And to begin with, you see just how hard they go in trying to control this guy's life off the bat, uh, because literally everyone in the environment are literally actors. And you see his life get messed with so early on when he's in class talking about, I want to be an explorer. And the poor kid gets told by his teacher, oh, I'm sorry, but there's nothing left to explore. Like, that is so tore back to do that to a kid right there. Let's be real.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
Because in real life, I would have freaking seen a teacher like that and been like, what, do you just fucking hate kids? Why the fuck are you a teacher if that's how you're going to treat your students? What a bitch. Ugh. So, like they started with trying to push him to not want to be an explorer, because clearly they don't want him to leave his environment that they control. Down to where you then suddenly, a little bit later on in his childhood, you see them literally fake his father's death on him, which is one
Yeah.
of the most dark things that this story has happened. Is that this controlled environment goes out of his way to Well, I mean, not only does this kid never know even his true parents, because quite literally, you're told that he was an adopted, unwanted child that a corporation owns. Despite
Yeah.
how he's also no longer a fucking kid, anyways. Too. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
If anything, sounds like you guys are actually kidnapping a grown man, and you're just trying to make him never fucking suspect that he's being kidnapped 24 fucking 7 of his life. I mean, so Torback. But like so they literally killed his actor dad on him by making him believe that his dad died at sea during a storm, that he drowned, and it traumatized Truman to be afraid of the water.
Yeah.
And they also clearly even fuck with this poor guy over that fear of the water, to where um his job goes out of its way to try and give him a job going on the ferry, knowing damn well that they're screwing with his emotions over that alone.
Yeah.
Which is just gnarly. But the main thing really is when he meets who was actually his first true crush. And they tried to push this other woman, Meryl, onto him, uh, with also the fact that his best friend is also an actor. Like literally everyone in his life is an actor. But so they tried to push him into a relationship with this Meryl girl. And then he's at the school dance or whatever, and he just can't stop keeping his eyes off this girl who, if anything, he's so attracted to because she's the only one who clearly isn't just bullshitting herself the whole time there.
Yeah.
Who is trying to be a genuinely real person that he actually has some form of an interaction with that wasn't controlled. Down to
Yeah.
where he notices her in the library, and he also notices a badge or a pin that she's wearing that in actuality is for a movement that people started against the show to try and basically fight for Truman's human rights that he doesn't know is being actively messed with. And the badge says, how will it end? Which,
Yeah.
if anything, let's be real here, also is very much pointing the finger towards end of the world type themes there, of course.
Yeah.
So, of course, Truman is probably deep down all, yeah, I am actually wondering how it will end.
Yeah.
And she goes out of her way to literally get him out of there as soon as possible because she snuck onto the onto the set to basically try and interact with Truman. All for the short time that they were alone, her basically a actor suddenly shows up pretending to be her dad to take her away to Fiji. And then ever since then, this poor guy had this deep desire to want to somehow go to Fiji to actually see the girl that he truly fell in love with and actually get that. All the while, all this time that he was living with Meryl as his wife, she's being pushed onto him as clearly a tool for the show more than actually trying to let the guy be happy somehow. Because clearly the whole time they're also trying to actually get him to get it on with Meryl. Just putting it bluntly.
Yeah.
They were actively trying to get him to get laid so that he would make a child and then the show could continue on the minute Truman died. Which is so hard or gnarly right there when you really just think about it like that. That
Yeah.
they not only have this poor guy kidnapped his entire fucking life with no idea of what he is dealing with, but they're also trying to get him to have sex with a woman he doesn't truly love just so that they don't have to worry about when he dies. That doesn't even show any genuine love right there from the director named Christoph, being played by, I'm trying to remember his name. Um, um, Ed Harris, I think, is his name. The guy who plays Christoph. And like it's kind of tore back how much he seems like he cares about him genuinely, while he clearly is just still using him as a tool without truly just reflecting and going, yeah, this is tore back what I'm doing. Like to these people who controlled this show, this is nothing but an experiment. Let's be real. Especially because they love to just flaunt um how the show had consistently been airing ever since the beginning of this guy's life, which is again tore back in of itself. But all the hidden cameras, it's so tore back because he slowly but surely begins to really just stop truly giving these people any form of genuine trust anymore because of just how hardcore he's starting to notice how screwy life is, down to how, for example, one of the things that they choose to do is quite literally have product placement in the middle of this guy's life all the fucking time in some of the cheesiest, most ridiculous ways.
Yeah.
Like Meryl coming home all, hey, I got a chef spell. It's a slicer, dicer, and peeler all in one. And you can't help but
Yeah.
be like, yeah, talk about an obvious fucking ad right there alone.
Yeah.
And not to mention, later on when she's trying to even calm him down even more, she's all asking him if she should fix him some cocoa drink. Some new mococo. No artificial sweeteners. Who you talking to? Who you talking to? Or hell, even his friend Marlon, how he freaking is all turning to the camera all, now that is a beer. When he's freaking drinking beer every fucking time he can with him and shit too.
Mhm.
And not to mention also how he starts to finally notice, yeah, everyone seems to be on a set path. Just repeating the same path over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And how freaking Meryl's just trying to act like he's just being silly when he's predicting every single thing that just keeps running around the block over and over again. They just go around the block. They just go round and round.
Yeah.
He- and then it gets even crazier when he also sees his dad break onto the set again. And when he broke onto the set, they literally take him away out of nowhere with some random people, and his mom treats him like he is fucking crazy over it, which is so tore back too.
Yeah.
In the end, the Christoph character, who's the director of the show, he literally puts himself in a position where he is God in this reality. To where, for example, he is constantly watching over the world from the moon, essentially.
Yeah.
And not only that, but he basically puts himself on a pedestal thinking that he has blessed Truman with the reality he is in because of how much this reality is controlled, so to speak. When, let's be real here, you went out of your way to cause full-on trauma onto this poor guy.
Yeah.
On top of the fact that you actively 24/7 mess with this guy's privacy to where like he may try to freaking act like he is somehow blessing him with this amazing reality when in reality he's just selfishly benefiting from this sort of experiment with his life. Down to where, especially the minute that a falling out between Truman and Meryl happen in the story, and Meryl leaves him, he is then suddenly trying to be pushed onto a new woman. Gee, I wonder why. About ready to play the stereotypical porno music. Like I imagine that's what they were gonna fucking do. Let's be real here. Oh man. But flat out, eventually, his friend even tries to make some sort of heartfelt speech about how the last thing I'd ever do is lie to you. And then try to fucking bring him his dad to try and seemingly calm him down. Bring his dad back into his life with claims of amnesia and shit.
Yeah.
It really is clear that Truman's whole body language right there said everything and how much he was like, I don't think I could trust anyone anymore.
Yeah.
Not even my dad that suddenly comes back. Which is super tore back right there.
Yeah.
So literally, he finally freaking pushes himself to try and overcome his trauma in the finale of the movie by getting back onto the sailboat that him and his dad were on when he was a kid, where they placed that trauma onto his life to begin with. And they go out of their way to quite literally start to break reality to try and find him. For example, turning on the light of the world, despite how it wasn't going to be daylight for a while. And then suddenly dealing with the artificial storm and how much Truman just refused to give up. To where he was flat out screaming out at him, is that the best you can do? You're gonna have to kill me!
Yeah.
And eventually he finally does give up, and then that ending scene really is probably one of the most well done scenes there, where the fucking sailboat finally hits the fucking wall of the stage of his whole reality, and he just gently touches the sky.
Yeah.
And then how he's literally seeing the exit, which literally looks like it could just be a stairway to heaven, too, practically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he basically is about ready to finally leave, and then the director finally talks to him, and he talks to him practically as if he is God.
Yeah.
Down to talking about how he saw every part of his life and all that stuff. Like, let's be real here. This Christoph guy really does have quite the hardcore ego to try and usurp God in this man's life. And trying to convince him that what's out there isn't good enough for you. What's out there isn't going to satisfy you. I've given you everything you could ever want. And trying to talk as if him being freaking famous is going to be the one thing that will make him just want to stay. Just, well, say something. You're on television. But for him to just do the whole iconic, well, in case see ya, good evening, good afternoon, and good night.
Good night.
And just walking away basically all, yeah, no, I ain't gonna let you control my life anymore. Screw you. To where, honestly, I could see where a sequel would be engaging, especially to see how this guy continues his life after discovering the truth so thoroughly, you know?
Yeah.
And honestly, because of this also being like one of the only serious Jim Carrey movies I've ever seen too. Like this is definitely one of my favorites of his. To where this is like a solid 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
And definitely with how biblical the whole concept is, it really does make it super engaging as a Christian, especially when you also consider how symbolic it is that his whole reality is constantly trying to be reshaped into what it isn't in front of his very eyes 24/7, to where deep down he knows there is something wrong, something not truly adding up in reality, but no one is willing to actually help him see what that is. it's almost as if instead, really, Christoph was more of the devil actively trying to hide the biblical truth from Truman.
Yeah.
Because more so, if anything, it'd probably also be the only thing that this guy could ever really move on with life after what happened there. Because it would have to be one of the hardest things to move on from after that, easily. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't argue against that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what would you say would be the like the highlight for you for this movie, and also what would you rate it?
I would rate it probably about at least a 7 or 8 out of 10. And highlight, I'm not exactly sure, but yes, it is very much um it's very much interesting movie overall. Uh, you know, very um uh,
Symbolic, would you is what you're trying to say?
hmm?
Is the word you're trying to say symbolic or
Yeah, I mean, sorta. I mean, like it's
biblical?
very sort of, yeah. Uh, yeah, escaping. Yeah, I mean, the more I think about it, yeah, biblical, as in like escaping, you know, like lies, the world, stuff like that. But yeah, uh, but yeah,
Well, how what would you rate it personally?
like probably at least a 7 or 8 out of 10. It's really good.
That's I'd say more than fair enough right there. Genuinely, I am surprised that this actually didn't get a sequel because let's be real, this would be a very engaging sequel to get for a character like this. To
Uh,
basically see how he would try and move on with life after discovering the truth and just simply trying to move on with life by actually going to be with his, his childhood crush or whatever, you know?
yeah.
It's where especially with how much Jim Carrey has clearly been talking about it, I'm surprised that they haven't gone out of their way to go, "Oh, Jim Carrey wants to do a movie? A sequel? Okay, let's do it." I mean, just being real. You'd kind of expect that to immediately get people all kinds of yes please just for that. But yeah, I guess that's probably about it. And well, thank you guys to anyone who does end up watching this. Uh I definitely do suggest giving this a watch, as well as Jim Carrey movies in general. Let's be real, this guy is definitely one of the most well loved actors out there for a reason. Thank you.